Oh, today we're going to start reviewing for your STAAR STAR test. Ho, ho, ho. And it's going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. So let's get going. And a magical whiteboard appears, and you see your assignment for today. Notice what we are doing is going through each TEK, and I've given you several examples of what these problems may look like when you take your STAR test. Basically, your STAR test is a final exam review of the objectives you should have learned in this class. Very good test here. So let's get going. The first thing we're going to do is to add and subtract polynomials. Okay, so you can see the TEK and then you can see the problems below it, okay? So this right here is what we're about to do. And we're just going to combine the like terms, okay? So I'm going to zoom in on the first one. I'm not going to do every single one of these. The key will be posted if you need help, okay? Very simple stuff. Just make sure you're going through these. Make sure you can do these successfully. Okay, on the first problem, the first thing you want to do on these is write them without parentheses. Usually you got to distribute a negative or a number to get rid of the parentheses. So this problem, this won't change, but this right here, that negative is going to get distributed in it. So I'm going to rewrite the problem without parentheses. And then over here, this will be negative x squared minus 4x plus 4. If I wanted to, I could put a 1 right here. Now that I need to combine my like terms, you put your answer in order from the largest exponent to the smallest. That's called standard form of a polynomial. So we're going to put our x squared first. I'm going to single underline the x squares. I'm going to double underline my x's. And I'm going to triple underline my constants, okay? So single underline, double underline, triple underline. You may have to quadruple underline. Now that you're just going to do sign, number, letter, exponent, and add and subtract the numbers the same exact way you were taught in 6th grade with your 6th grade math skills. Okay, so on the first one, let's look at our single underlines. I got a plus 3 and a minus 1. I have more 3's than I do 1, so my sign's going to be positive. 1 away from 3, because the signs are different, is 2. My letter is x, my exponent squared. Then you repeat the process. Sign, number, letter, exponent. Look at this double underline. So I got 4 and 4, right? They're the same number. So I'm going to drop the negative. The signs are the same, and both of them are negative, so I'm going to add them up. So 4 and 4 add up to 8, and my sign or my letter is x. Sign, number, letter. Repeat the process. Sign, number, letter. I got 3's and 4's, don't I? I have more 4's than I do 3's, so that drops my plus. Get the sign first. Then figure out if you add or subtract them. The 4's are positive, the 3's are negative, they're different. 3 away from 4 is 1, and that would be the answer, wouldn't it? Piece of cake, okay? Not hard at all. Just sign, number, letter, exponent. Let's go to the next one. Okay, on this one right here, the 4x minus 3 is going to drop. The plus right here won't change this parentheses. So plus 2x minus 5. Then right here, this negative gets distributed. So this is going to turn into minus 3x minus 2. Now that I'm going to go back, single underline the x's and double underline the constants. Okay? Now then, what I'm going to do is group these up. So my 4's positive and my 2's positive and my 3's negative. I'm looking at the single underlines. I'm going to group the 4 and 2 first to get 6. So now I have plus 6 and minus 3. I have more 6's, so the positive drops. 3 away from 6 is 3, and my letter is x. So sign, number, letter, exponent. Notice I didn't write x down every time because I knew the x would come at the end. Now then, let's look at our constants, okay? Our constants are negative 3, negative 5, and negative 2. Notice they're all negative. So how many negatives do you have? You're going to add them all up, aren't you? Negative 3, negative 5, and negative 2 combine up to a negative 10. You would add them up and keep the sign. That's the answer. Piece of cake to do this. Okay, I'm going to have to go through this or this video is going to take way too long. On the next one right here, make sure you write down all of the edge lengths. And to get the perimeter, you're going to add them up. Now then, this is a good trick to get the perimeter. I'm going to write them down and stack them up. This lines up my common terms. Now then, on the calculator, I could punch in the -6, the -6, the +2, and the +2. That's going to be -12 plus 4, which is a -8. And then 2x plus 2x plus 3x plus 3x adds up to the 10x. Do y'all just see how I group those up by lining up the x's and numbers? That is really handy when doing this. Go to the next one right here. Okay, the isosceles triangle, 3x minus 5, and stack them up again. 3x minus 5, 3x minus 5, and 7x plus 8. Just group them up. On this one right here, I would group these two together and get -10. Then -10 plus 8, I got more 10s than I do 8s. It's going to be a negative, and 8 away from 10 is 2. You're going to subtract because the signs are different. 3x plus 3x plus 7x is 13x. If you're having a hard time combining these integers, you've got to use your calculator. On the next one right here, these two are the same. I'm just going to do one of them. The sum of two binomials is this, and one of them is this. So basically, x plus y equals the 5x squared plus 7x minus 8. And this right here is going to be my x. So if I add two things up, I get the 5x squared, okay? So to get the y, I would have to take this and subtract it across one. So I'm going to subtract the two terms to get the other one. So I'm going to do 5x squared plus 7x minus 8, and I'm going to subtract the 7x minus 5. So I'm going to add up two things to get that big polynomial. So to get one of them, I'm going to subtract, okay? So I'm going to write this down and then distribute the negative and then group my like terms. I only have one x squared. I got two x's and I've got an 8 and a 5. Okay, I'm going to go single underline, double underline, triple underline. There's only one single underline, so the 5x squared drops. And then notice the 7x minus 7x is going to cancel out, right? They're going to cancel out to 0, 7 minus 7, 0. Then look at the 8 and the 5. Which one do you have more of, 8s or 5s? You got more 8s, so the negative drops. The 8 and the 5 do not have the same sign, do they? 5 away from 8 is 3. This will be my answer, okay? I'm going to let you look at number 6 on your own. Get that? Or this is going to take too long to do the video. Okay, on the next set, you need to know how to multiply polynomials. And remember, you have to use the full method to do this. I'm not going to go through and do all these, okay? One way to do this, the way I like it, is to draw your arches and then draw 3 blanks. You're going to have the first, the outside, and the inside of the last. This arch is my outside arch. This arch is my inside arch. So the first terms are 4x and 2x. So 4x times 2x is 8x squared. And then I'm going to do my last terms. 3 times negative 5 is a minus 15. Then I do my arches. 3x times 2x is a plus 6x. 4x times negative 5 is a negative 20x. And down there, my 6x and 20x are stacked up, aren't they? I have more 20s than I do 6s, so the negative drops. And then 6 and 20 do not have the same sign. So 6 away from 20 is 14, and my letter's X. Piece of cake, okay? Another way to do this is with the box method, okay? If you use the box method, you're going to make a 2 by 2, put 2x minus 7 and 3x plus 5, and then just fill in the box. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times negative 7 is negative 21x. 5 times 2x is plus 10x. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. And then you're just going to group up. The 6x squared drops. And then I've got to group these two. So the negative 21 is larger than the 10. I got more 21s than I do 10s. So the negative drops. The 10 and 21 do not have the same sign. 10 away from 21 is 11. And the letter is X. Sign, number, letter. Just sign, number, letter. Sign, number, letter. And then the negative 35 drops. If you're having trouble doing this box system organizes it a little bit better, okay? The next one is a trinomial times. I would do the box on this every single time. So draw your box, and I need a 3 by 2 box, okay? And then I'm going to put the 2x squared minus 6x minus 5 on top, and I'm going to put the x minus 7, and then I'm just going to multiply them out. X times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times negative 6x is negative 6x squared. Sign, number, letter, exponent. X times negative 5, the sign's negative, the number's 5, the letter's x. Sign, number, letter. Negative 7 times 2x squared. A negative times a positive is a negative. 7 times 2 is 14. My letter's x, my exponent's 2. Sign, number, letter, exponent. That's all you're doing. The next one, a negative times a negative is a positive. 7 times 6 is 42. My letter's x. Sign, number, letter. Y'all get the hang of it. A negative times a negative is a positive. 7 times 5 is 35. Make sure you're putting the signs on all of these. Now then, when you get the answer on this, the 2x cubed is going to drop. I need to group my x squares up. So I have more 14s than I do 6s, so the sign's going to be negative. The 14 and 6 have the same sign. I'm going to add them up and get 20. My letter is x, my exponent's 2. Then go to the next set. I need to group the 5x and the 42x. So I have more 42s than I do 5s, so the sign's plus. The 42 and 5 do not have the same sign, so 5 away from 42 is 37. My letter's x. Sign, number, letter. Y'all getting the hang of it. And then the lastly, plus 35. This right here would be my answer. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, you could go down here. You're going to repeat the process on these, okay? This one right here, you're just going to multiply these two, right? If you are in pre-AP algebra, I would suggest learning it this way. You've got to be able to do that full quickly if you stay in the pre-AP track, okay? If you're an academic, I would probably do it this way. It's a little bit more organized, okay? On this one right here, you're going to do the box again and put this on top and this on the bottom, okay? The key's been posted in Canvas to look at these, okay? If I do all these problems, the video is just going to be way too long. Let's go to the next one. Okay, on this one, we are dividing. To be able to divide, you've got to be able to factor, okay? We haven't got to the factor. The factor's next one, okay? So, let's review factoring again. I need the factors of 10 that add up to 7. That's going to be 2 and 5, right? And then it's going to be negative 5 and negative 2, and then I put this on the bottom, right? So x times x is my x squared, negative 5 times negative 2 is my positive 10, negative 5 and negative 2 add up to 7. These are going to be my factors. So it's going to be x minus 5 and x minus 2. Now then, in Algebra 1, this will always divide evenly. So what you do is you factor the numerators. This factor is going to be one of these factors, and it just divides out. So all that's left is x minus 5. That's all you have to do, okay? Well, let's go to the next one. Okay, I need the factors of 12 that add up to 7. That's going to be 3 and 4. Put the biggest one first, so 4 and 3. I need a positive 7, so they're both positive. And then x squared is just going to be x and x. The opposite of multiply is divide, right? Now then, if I do x times x, I get my x squared. 4 times 3 is my positive 12. And if I add up 4 and 3, I get my 7, don't I? So my factors are going to be x plus 4 and x plus 3. The x plus 3's are the same. They'll cancel out. All that's left is x plus 4. Sometimes the answer won't have the parentheses. It'll just be x plus 4, okay? Now then, the shortcut to this. Go this way and this way. What do you multiply x by to get x squared? It's going to be x, right? What do you multiply 3 by to get 12? It's going to be plus 4. This right here forms that factor. And the x plus 3 will be on the top two, right? That's an easy way to get these because in Algebra 1 there will be no remainder. You can't do it this way in Algebra 2 because you could have a remainder. Let's go to the next one and do that shortcut. So go this way and this way. X times what is x squared? It's x, right? 4 times negative 28 is what? It's negative 7, right? So I know one of my factors will be x minus 7. Rewrite this one, x plus 4. Those are the factors of that polynomial at the top. Now then, let's do it the other way. The factors of 28 that subtract and give me 3 are 7 and 4. And to get the 3, I need a negative 7 and a positive 4 and put x's on the bottom. Do y'all see how this factor's right here and this one's right here in it? You can get that with the shortcut method, right? The x plus 4's cancel out. X minus 7 is the answer, which is this and this in it. Okay? Sorry about that. Let's go to the next one. Let's do the shortcut again. I'm going to go this way and this way. So x times what is 2x squared? It's going to be 2x, right? 4 times what is 20? It's going to be positive 5. So this is going to form one of my factors. It's going to be 2x plus 5. This factor also goes to the top. Guess what happens if I multiply this times this? I get the 2x squared plus 13x plus 20. Those are the factors. The x plus 4 cancels out. All that's left is 2x plus 5. Piece of cake. I'm going to do one of these next ones for you. You need to get 6x squared minus x minus 15 and divide it by 2x plus 3. You're going to do the same thing on the other one, okay? Now then, go this way and this way. 2x times what is 6x squared? It's 3x, right? 3 times what is negative 15? It's negative 5. This is going to form one of my factors. Then write this factor back on top. And guess what happens if I multiply these? 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Negative 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. If I do my arches, I got negative 10 and positive 9. That's going to be the negative x. Those are the factors of that. Do y'all see how to do that shortcut? The 2x plus 3's cancel out. All that's left is 3x minus 5, which is this and this, isn't it? Piece of cake, okay? That will not work in Algebra 2 because you could get a remainder. In Algebra 1, they always divide evenly. So that's a big time shortcut to get that. I'm going to let you do the last one on your own. Continuing on! Rewrite polynomial expressions of degree 1 and degree 2 in equivalent forms using the distributive property. This is the bluebell truck. So number 19, the 3 is my bluebell truck, and these are my stores. Everything in the parentheses gets the bluebell truck. So I'm going to take the bluebell truck and drive it to every store and then multiply. When you multiply, you do sign, number, letter, exponent. Okay? So what is a positive times a positive? It's positive. I don't put it at the beginning. 3 times 2 is 6. My letter is x. My exponent's 2. Sign, number, letter, exponent. Continuing on. A positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 5 is 15. My letter is x. Sign, number, letter. Continuing on. A positive times a positive is a positive. 3 times 7 is 21. That is my answer. Okay. And then let's go to a little bit of harder one. I'm going to let you, those two at the top are pretty simple. Let's go to here. Let it clear up. This is my bluebell truck. So I'm going to distribute 3/4 x. Don't freak out with the 3/4. Now then, we're going to do sign, number, letter, exponent. In 5th grade, you learned how to multiply a number and a fraction. In 5th grade, you learned how to multiply a number and a fraction. Make your 5th grade teacher happy. So let's go to this. 8 times 3/4. You do 8 times 3 divided by 4. That's it. Don't panic. You can use your calculator. So 8 times 3 is 24 divided by 4 is 6. That's my number. My letter is x. And then I'm doing x to the 1 times x squared. You add up the exponents, that's 3. Sign, number, letter, exponent. Continuing on. A positive times a positive is a positive. 12 times 3 divided by 4. 12 times 3 is 36. Divided by 4 is 9. You can punch it in on your calculator. So the number's 9. My letter's x. X times x is x squared. Sign, number, letter, exponent. Continuing on. A negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 3 divided by 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Divided by 4 is 3. My letter is x. sign, number, letter, ding, 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 ding. I got my answer. That was not hard, was it? You got this, okay? Piece of cake. Continuing on. Oh, this one looks like fun. This will be the last one I help you out with. You can do the other one on your own. We have two Bluebell trucks. So the 12 goes to here, and the 8 goes to here and here, okay? And they're both positive, aren't they? So just put the plus up there. Now then, same thing, 5th grade math. Do a whole number times a fraction. 12 times 2 divided by 3. 12 times 2 is 24, divided by 3 is 8. My letter is X. A positive times a negative is a negative. 12 times 3 divided by 4. 12 times 3 is 36, divided by 4 is 9. Repeat the process. 8 times a half, hopefully you know that's a positive 4. The letter's X. Sign, number, letter. 8 times 1 is plus 8. Now that I have like terms, don't I? I'm going to group my X's up and my constants up. And then I'm going to do sign, number, letter again. I have more 8s than I do 4s. The sign's positive. 8 and 4, they're both positive. Add up to 12. My letter is X. Sign, number, letter. Repeat the process. 9 and 8. I have more 9s than I do 8s. The sign is negative. The 8 and 9 have different signs. 8 away from 9 is 1. Ding, 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 ding. That's my answer. Piece of cake. Oh. Continuing on. Just like eating Oreo cookies. And this, I think, is the last page for today. Yes, this is the last page we're doing today. This is the hardest thing you did in Algebra 1 this year is factoring, okay? Don't panic on this. You're going to have a couple of these on the test, and there's several ways they can tell you to factor. I'm going to show you how to do this. You can do this, okay? On this problem here, I need the factors of 20 that add up to 9. So the factors of 20 that add up to 9 are going to be 4 times 5, right? You can get that if you do 20 divided by x and hit Control-T, it gives you all the factors, right? Got this, okay? So I'm going to put 5 and 4, put the biggest factor first, and then I want negative 9. So they both need to be negative, don't they? Then look at this term. What do you multiply to get x squared? You multiply x times x. This right here is going to be my factors. So x minus 5 and x minus 4 are my factors, okay? Piece of cake. I'm going to go down. On this one right here, can I take a 2 out of 3 and 20? I can't take a 2 out of 3. So I've got to multiply the first term and the last term, and that's going to give me a 40 in it. Now then, I want the factors of 40 that subtract to give me 3. The factors of 40 that subtract to give me 3 are 8 and 5, right? If you can't get that, you've got to write all the factors out, okay? So 8 and 5 work. So I'm going to write down 8 and 5. Now then, how do I get the plus 3? My 8 needs to be positive, my 5 needs to be negative. And then to get the 2x squared, I'm going to put 2x on the bottom of both of them. The first fraction reduces or simplifies. So I'm going to get plus 4 over x, and this is going to be minus 5 over 2x. Ding, 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 ding. I got my factors. So this is going to be x plus 4 and 2x minus 5. Okay? Try to keep this simple, okay? You got this. Like I said, this is the hardest thing you did in Algebra 1 this year. Let's go down to the next one. On this one right here, hopefully you can look at this. The 9x squared is a perfect square root, and the 25 is a perfect square root. So right off the bat, look at the A term and the C term. If they're perfect square roots, square root them. So the square root of 9x squared, put a little bitty 3x over here. The square root of 25 is 5. Now then, multiply and double. What's 3x times 5? It's 15, right? If you double 15, do you get this number? Yes, you do. So this is going to factor into 3x minus 5 and 3x minus 5. This is a perfect square in it. This would have one factor, okay, or 1 0. Okay, so 3x minus 5 times, it could be 3x minus 5 squared on your answer chart. Either one of those would work. Now that I'm going to show you how to do this with a calculator, or let's do this one first. On this one right here, notice they're both perfect squares, aren't they? So the square root of 16x squared is 4x, and the square root of 25 is 5, but the middle term is deleted in it. That means this is the difference of squares. So one of the factors will be 4x minus 5, and the other will be 4x plus 5. If you do the arches, you'll get negative 20 plus 20. The middle term cancels. Okay? Let's go to, now then I'm going to show you how to do this with the calculator. Okay, let's go to this one. If I were to set this equal to 0, remember when we saw these, your factors are opposite than your zeros. So my factors would be x equals 5 and 4, right? The calculator will not give you the factors, but it will give you the zeros. Once you know the zeros, you can go backwards to get your factors, okay? So let's go to this one. I'm going to show you how to do this with a calculator. So if I have this problem, if you cannot factor by hand, do not stay in pre-AP. If you cannot factor by hand, don't stay in pre-AP. If you're still struggling with this, make sure you're learning the calculator and then use this on the Staar. I would take academic from now on. If you can't factor, this is going to be tough if you stay in pre-AP. Okay, let's go to the calculator. Go to calculate. Okay, so we're going to go to our scratch pad and calculate. These are the steps. I would write this down. Hit menu. Now then, where does it say algebra? It says algebra at 3, so hit 3. Then where does it say polynomial tools? Polynomial tools is 3. So hit 3, and then find the roots of the polynomial. Pick 1. Okay, you're always going to usually get a degree 2. Hit enter. Now then, this is where you put in your ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's go back to the problem. This right here is 1. So my a would equal to 1, my b would equal to negative 12, my c would equal to negative 28. Remember, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. You can't do this unless the polynomial's in perfect order, okay? So I'm going to plug in 1, negative 12, and negative 28. So 1 down, negative 12, down, and negative 28. So 1, negative 12, and negative 28. That's my A, B, and C in it. Hit enter, or hit the down button again, and then hit enter. And then hit enter again. Notice that this should be the polynomial you're trying to factor. So if you hit enter, notice negative 2 and 14. Those are the zeros. They're not the factors. So the polynomial, the quadratic, the parabola will cross the x-axis at negative 2 and 14. So go back to your paper and put x equals negative 2 and 14. Those are not the factors. Those are the zeros. So to get your factors, we're going to do the opposites. What's the opposite of negative 2? Plus 2. What's the opposite of a positive 14? Negative 14. These are the factors of that polynomial, okay? It's about as easy as I could get it, okay? You've got to make sure that polynomial is in perfect order to do this. Let's go to number 20, or let's go to the one below it. Okay, right here. I got my A equals 3, my B equals negative 16, and my C equals negative 12. So I'm going to repeat the process on the calculator. Remember, it was menu, 3, 3, and then I think 1, and then you just type them in, right? So menu, algebra, polynomial tools, and then find the zeros, or find the roots, okay? So menu, algebra is 3, and then polynomial tools is 3, and then find the roots 1. And then I have a degree 2, so hit OK. And then my A, let me get the numbers again, 3, negative 16, negative 12. 3, down, negative 16, down, negative 12, make sure that's right, 3, 6, negative 16, negative 12, that's right. Hit the down button, hit enter again, boom, negative 2/3 and 6. So let's go down here and write down x equals negative 2/3 and 6. So how do I get that negative 2/3 as a factor? Let's go back to here. This right here would be opposite of positive 4 is a negative 4. And this right here, if we did 2x minus 5 equals 0, we would move over the 5 and then divide by 2, wouldn't we? So I would get this, wouldn't I? Notice the opposite of a negative is a positive, and the number over on the right goes first, the coefficient goes second. Okay, so this number is going to turn into the coefficient, and the sign will be flipped. So let's go over here. The 3 turns into the coefficient. The opposite of a negative is a plus, and the 2 goes at the end. That's how you switch that negative 2/3. And then the opposite of plus 6 is minus 6. Ding, 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 ding. I just factored that, okay? So make sure you go back to the video and make sure you can do these steps. If you're having trouble, please be able to factor by hand if you're staying in pre-AP. Okay? Let's go over here. I'm going to let you do these on your own. You can choose a calculator or do them the other way. And just make sure you can do these, okay? And the key will be online. Make sure I would write down the tips on the calculator if you need to do the calculator on your Staar. And we are almost done with this. Okay, decide if a polynomial can be written as a difference of two squares. So what this means, if I have x minus 3 and x plus 3, if I multiply that, I'm going to get x squared minus 9, and that middle term cancels out. These are both perfect squares, and they'll always be a minus, okay? So the key is the first term and the second term have to be perfect squares. So on this one, this is a square root, this is a square root, write them to the side. The middle term cancels out, so it's going to be 3x plus 7 and 3x minus 7. That's all you have to do. Let's go to the next one. The middle term cancels out. Are they both perfect squares? Yes, they are. This is going to be 7x and 4. This is going to factor to 7x plus 4 and 7x minus 4. Go to the next one. These are both perfect squares. Square root, square root. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. The square root of 81 is 9. 2x plus 9 and 2x minus 9. Continuing on, let's go down to the bottom. Circle the binomials that are perfect, the product of difference of squares. It has to have a negative in the middle. This one's not a perfect square. Then the left and the right have to be perfect squares. Is this a perfect square? Yes. Is this a perfect square? Yes. This is a difference of squares. Go down to the next one. Is this a perfect square? 2x times 2x. Yes. Is this a perfect square? 20 is not a perfect square, is it? Go down to the next one. Square root, square root. Is 2x squared a perfect square? 2 is not a perfect square, is it? So there's only one difference of squares in there. Well, let's go to the next one. Same thing. It has to be a minus in the middle. This one's incorrect. Okay, now then, square root, square root. Is this a perfect square? Yes. Is the 9 a perfect square? Yes. Ding, 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 ding. That one works. Go to the next one. Square root, square root. 25 is a perfect square, but 6 is not. Go to the next one. Square root, square root. 100 is 10 times 10. Check. 9 is 3 times 3. Check. This is a difference of squares. Piece of cake. And then lastly, the last problem of the day. Ho, ho, ho. Let's multiply these. These are difference of squares. The middle term will cancel. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25. The middle term cancels out. Go to the next one. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Negative 7 times positive 7 is negative 49. If I make my arches, I would get negative 21 and a positive 21. It would cancel out, wouldn't it? So you don't have to do the arches, right? Let's do the last one. I'll show you how the arches work since there's more room. Let's do the first, the outside, inside, and last. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Then look at what happens to your arches. They eliminate, don't they? That's why I didn't show it on the top two. The answer is just going to be 16x squared minus 9. Notice the 16 and 9 are perfect squares, aren't they? This right here would be the answer. Wow, that was fun, okay? Tomorrow we're going to continue in this packet. We're going to simplify square roots and do the rest of it. You are going to do wonderful on your STAR test. Keep believing you can do this. Make sure you complete this packet the night before. Just thumb through this. I'm going to be giving you some calculator tips, so make sure you watch the whole video, okay? Remember, you are amazing, you are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.